This is Southern Cross News with Joe Palmer.
Senator Parry's shock announcement means a highly likely comeback for another former Liberal Senator, Richard Colbeck. He says he's ready to return to federal parliament, confirming he is definitely not a dual citizen.
For the past 16 months, Richard Colbeck has been enjoying life out of politics.
We've got a new granddaughter who's 18 months old now, so we've had the opportunity to spend some time with her, a son who recently got married.
But the former Liberal Senator's life could soon take another drastic turn. With Stephen Parry resigning from the Senate, Mr Colbeck is highly likely to find himself back in the thick of it.
I'm very happy to return. I think it's pretty well known that I'd always thought about what the path might be to come back into the Parliament. Hadn't anticipated that this might be it, but if there is a recount, I'll certainly contest it.
The ultimate decision of who replaces Senator Parry will be up to the High Court, but with Colbeck's polling last year and having previously served 15 years in Parliament, he's the expected choice.
Every likelihood is that there would be a recount and then Richard Colbeck will be able to come back and continue on from where he left off.
Mr Colbeck was relegated to the unwinnable fifth spot on the Tasmanian Liberal Senate ticket for last year's federal election. Tensions then flared between Mr Colbeck and Erica Betts, but the duo say they can work together.
Eric and I have had our moments throughout our careers, but we've always been professional about it.
Of course, Senator Colbeck and I worked together in the past as senators, and if Senator Colbeck returns to the Senate, we will work together exceptionally well.
Labor Senator Anne Urquhart says she would also welcome Mr Colbeck back.
I've enjoyed being, the only local senator based on the North West Coast for some time, but Richard and I work well together.
The shock resignation may not only cause a change of seats, but also offices. Richard Colbeck would most likely move back into his old office here in Devonport, forcing Senator Duniam to either move to here in Launceston or Hobart. It's understood Senator Parry's staff will leave their office on Friday. Monika Dadson, Southern Cross News.
Susan Neal-Fraser and her family will have to wait until next year in their fight to win an appeal, with the landmark legal challenge delayed until March. In the final day of hearings this week, a man labelled a serial killer in court denied he had anything to do with the murder.
It was a tense wait for Paul Rowe outside court as he waited to be called by Susan Neal-Fraser's lawyers in a case where he's been highlighted as the real killer by a witness. Lawyers are trying to win an appeal over Neal-Fraser's conviction for murdering her partner Bob Chappell, who went missing from the couple's yacht off Sandy Bay in 2009. Earlier this week, Stephen Gleeson was escorted from prison to give evidence. He claimed Mr Rowe was responsible for the death of Bob Chappell and several others, saying, "I believe we're dealing with a serial killer." Mr Gleeson himself is currently serving jail time, admitted in court he would lie to protect Susan Neal-Fraser and claimed he was a spy agency employee. Before the court today, Mr Rowe said he intends to sue Mr Gleeson over his claims. He confirmed he was living aboard a yacht in the area at the time of the murder, but when questioned by defence, "Had you been on the Four Winds that night?" he said, "I told you that I've never been on the Four Winds at all." Mr Rowe was questioned on his criminal record, which included numerous offences of assaulting police in the 1970s and 80s, as well as the stabbing of a bouncer. But he said that jail time turned his life around. Today marks the end of the bulk of the evidence, but lawyers for Susan Neal-Fraser still have an expert witness to call who will scrutinise the police account of how Bob Chappell's body was winched from the Four Winds. But it means a tense wait for Susan Neal-Fraser's family, with the matter adjourned until next year.
We're confident that, we're getting where we need to go with the legal process. Obviously, the delay in time is slightly disappointing. We're expecting that a new light will be sort of cast on this case after we've heard from that witness.
The landmark case will return to court on the 7th of March for further evidence and closing submissions. Michael Breen, Southern Cross News.
Risdon Vale residents are still being advised to boil their water tonight as Taswater tries to find the source of E. coli found in the area's supply. The issue is also flowing onto the political stage, with candidates in the Pembroke by-election using it to justify the Taswater takeover.
For Anne Harris, this latest boiled water alert is a serious concern. She runs Risdon Vale's local community centre and this morning struggled to prepare meals for 40 local children.
We had to get there early, boil all the water. I had to go and get some hand sanitiser. We couldn't wash up any of the dishes.
This evening she's hosting an event for another 50 young people and says although the local supermarket has stocked up water supplies, it's not something her centre can afford.
And we're going to have to boil all the water up, so we find some containers, I guess, to put all the boiled water in to cool it, because they all like to drink water.
Nothing is being ruled out just yet, but there is one possible cause under investigation. Fire trucks fighting a blaze in the area on Sunday night could have tapped into the local supply, causing the contamination. Taswater says it is unsure just exactly how long the boiled water alert will remain in place, but says it could be up to a week.
If the test results from yesterday and later today come through clear, we should be able to lift the alert later this week.
Taswater says traces of E. coli were found in just one location here at Risdon Vale, but they've implemented the boil water alert as a precaution.
We think the actual risk of people getting sick is very low because we acted so quickly.
It's providing the Liberal Pembroke candidate with some more fodder in the political water wars. James Walker pushing the government's Taswater takeover as a clear distinction between perceived frontrunner Doug Chipman.
We need to sort this out, and the only way to do that is to vote one Walker.
I'm confident it will be fixed as soon as possible. I cannot understand how the government could have prevented that sort of thing from happening if they'd owned Taswater.
Louise Hedger, Southern Cross News.
A report into Tasmania's prison system has revealed alarming conditions for inmates in overcrowded facilities. Limited access to natural light or fresh airflow have been highlighted, with an urgent call for a new facility to accommodate rising demand.
It's been an issue boiling away for months. Chronic overcrowding in our state's prison system, now made public in the Custodial Inspector's annual report. A growth in prison numbers of 10% within 12 months, on top of a 15% increase the previous year.
We have invested more, both in terms of capacity, both in terms of staffing, and obviously we are considering other prison options. But prison is not a resort.
The report highlights shocking conditions for the prisoners, a double and triple bunking of inmates in a one-person cell, minimum rate security prisoners forced into the medium and maximum complexes, continuous lockdowns keeping inmates within those overcrowded cells for up to 24 hours, access to natural light and airflow stressed as a real concern, with an urgent call for a new prison facility.
If he thinks that living in third world conditions, where you're locked down for 22, 23 hours a day, is somehow nirvana, then he's either a liar or he doesn't live on planet Earth.
Prisoner advocates are linking the increasing prison population to the government's tough-on-crime approach. It's as the annual report from the Director of Public Prosecutions also reveals a backlog in criminal cases.
Tough on crime means more people in jail, higher recidivism rates.
We're going to see repeated cycles of crime, and that can go straight home to the Liberals' bad policies.
Unions say up to 50 correctional staff are on either sick or stress leave or annual leave, calling for overstaffing to address the high turnover of officers in the intense prison environment.
We've funded 81 new prison beds and we've increased recurrent funding for the prison service by $11 million per annum, as well as $7.5 million for various capital projects.
One capital project remaining uncertain as the government's Northern Prison investigation continues without a time frame. Jacqueline Robson, Southern Cross News.
3 people have been arrested following a police evade near Hobart this afternoon. Police say the driver of a stolen silver Ford Ranger escaped officers in Glenorchy before colliding with several cars en route to Bridgewater around 3:15. Road spikes stopped the vehicle and the trio in the car were then arrested. Traffic was congested near the scene for around 2 hours. Anyone with information is urged to contact Crime Stoppers. Crime Stoppers Tasmania has been recognised on the international stage, today presented with 2 prestigious awards for its work with the community. The organisation's campaign, My Home, Our Community, recognised as being an international standout for its community engagement.
That's important for Tasmanians, but it's also important for Tasmania generally. We feel at Crime Stoppers we have an important role to play in helping create a safer Tasmania.
A member of 20 years, David Daniels OAM, also recognised for his extensive commitment to the service.
Must admit too, had a tear in the eye. So it was the first time that we've ever received such a prestigious award in Tasmania, coming from Crime Stoppers International.
Crime Stoppers Tasmania has been running for 23 years. A Tasmanian artisan butter maker has travelled throughout Europe to meet with other producers and concludes our butter is the best. Olivia Morrison from the Tasmanian Butter Co says other countries outsource their ingredients while Tasmanians use fresh homegrown produce.
We come out on top just because of our wonderful dairy and all of our ingredients and our care and attention to detail when we're producing food.
She says Tasmania is the only place in the country where traditional methods of culturing the cream before churning are still used.
The length of the process is long, and that's why we don't see it in big commercial operations, because it takes that little bit more time. But I believe that it enhances the flavour of the butter and makes it just that much better.
Their traditional hands-on methods usually takes about 3 days to create a batch of butter. Now let's take a look at the day's business and finance with thanks to Tasplan, your local super fund. Gains in all but one sector of the share market has lifted the All Ordinaries Index above 6,000 points for the first time since the global financial crisis. The ASX 200 index has risen by 28.8 points. And a short time ago, the Australian dollar was trading at 76.61 US cents and 65.85 euro cents.
Tasmania will stage the wood chopping world titles next month, attracting dozens of champions from across the globe. The state has produced some of the sport's best, with the upcoming titles set to put the next generation of greats to the test.
How much wood could a woodchuck chuck? Well, Tasmania is about to find out as the state prepares to stage the chopping world titles.
There'll be some close competition. Plenty of the Americans, Canadians and Kiwis have already expressed interest in coming out. The locals are already finalising their preparations and training very hard.
Next month, up to 40 of the globe's best woodchoppers will compete for the top spot at the Christmas Carnival Series, allowing some of Tasmania's best up-and-comers to test their skills with the axe. The state is certainly no slouch in the sport, having produced some of the greats such as David Foster.
We are well known for producing great axemen and axewomen, and there will be no exception, and this will boost the next generation as we lead into the 150-year anniversary of woodchopping in Tasmania.
4 world titles will be held across Tasmania, including the first ever for women.
Introducing these world titles sort of gets the awareness out there that, yeah, females are accepted in this sport.
The wood chopping champion says she hopes events like this will see more women get involved in the sport.
I'd love to see more women. And when I first started, there was only a couple of us here in Tassie, and now in Australia there's at least 40 women that are competing.
Beams has been on the axe for 30 years and says there's no rest for the wicked.
Mondays I pretty much do weight training. Tuesdays will be cardio. Wednesdays I try and have a bit of a rest to give the body a rest. Thursday I'll go back more weights and cardio, and then on the weekend I'll compete.
All in preparation for the big day. The Christmas Carnival runs from December 16 to January 20. Rita Risk, Southern Cross News.
North Launceston Premiership coach Tom Couch is set to part ways with the club to head home to Victoria. It's understood Couch will take up a role in the Victorian Football League, cutting short his 2-year contract with the Bombers. The son of late Brownlow medalist Paul Couch was among the Bombers' best on the field this TSL season and was named the league's Coach of the Year. The club was unavailable for comment today.
Good evening. Hobart and Devonport 19 degrees today. Launceston and Fingal the state's high with 22. Burnie meantime reached 20. There was a cold front made a short appearance over the west, bringing a few showers there and to the south. No big falls though. Temperatures mostly below average. Wynyard 20 degrees. St Helens and Friendly Beaches 19. Lowhead 18. Flinders Island and Bushy Park 17 degrees. King Island and Grove 16. A frontal band sits over Tasmania. There's the cloud with it extending south and also over the Bight and across to southern Western Australia. There's more cloud spirals into a low over the Tasman Sea with low cloud in an onshore stream over Victoria and the east coast. Closer in, mostly low-level convective cloud over the west and south, higher base cloud streaming over the top. Tomorrow, a ridge of high pressure is placed just to our west ahead of the next cold front. A broad trough persists over parts of the north and WA. Winds shifting southwest to southeasterly at 15 to 25 knots during tomorrow afternoon and evening. Swells getting up to 4 metres in western and southern waters. Hobart, showers increasing tomorrow, 14 the top, 14 for Cygnet. Showers also for New Norfolk, 15 the high. Launceston, a shower or two, 17 the maximum, 16 and partly cloudy for Devonport. A few showers for Campbelltown, 16 the max. Burnie partly cloudy and 16, a shower or two for Strawn with 14 degrees, Smithton partly cloudy and 16, and for St Helens, showers increasing, 16 for there and Swansea, and Fingal a shower or two, 15 degrees. The UV high to very high. On Friday, showers, they'll start to contract to the west and far south and Bass Strait by evening. Some snow expected as well. Another shower over the west and south on Saturday with a slight chance elsewhere. Snow to 600 metres. Fine on Sunday apart from a possible shower over the west. Partly cloudy in Perth, Adelaide and Sydney tomorrow. A shower for Melbourne. A sunny day for Brisbane and Alice Springs. Possible storms for Cairns and Darwin. And there's a light shower about at the moment over Hobart, 11 degrees at the moment, 19 degrees and clear in Launceston, 18 right now in Devonport. And we have snow forecast for Friday and Saturday nights, just what we need in November, Jo.
Oh my gosh, get the snow boots back out. Thank you very much, Merv. That's all from us for now. Have a great evening. We'll see you with updates a bit later. Bye-bye.